Hi, selamat siang, good afternoon. I'm IBU ROBIN LIM, and I'm a midwife, a grandmother, and one of the things that I have done a lot of in my life is respond as an early responder to disasters. For example, the tsunami, earthquake 9.3 and subsequent tsunami in Aceh, Indonesia. That was in 2004. And what we found there was that the infant formula companies, even namely Nestle, they were there trying to give the people infant formula, people who had no home, who had no way to properly boil the water for the milk. And it became a big problem in Aceh. We identified 63 babies who died from being fed infant formula in disaster zone. So later on, I attended in Haiti. I was there after the big earthquake there. I was in Nepal after the giant earthquakes there. Also Jogja, Padang, all over the world in many, many places. Lombok more recently. But when in 2009, the earthquake struck in L'Aquila, Italy, I was asked to go there because the women were in trauma. And they asked me to come and talk to them. And I was so honored to be invited by these women to come and sit with them and listen to their stories. And one woman told me a story that was so heartbreaking, and that was that her child was 18 months old, and she went to the pediatrician, because that's what you did at 18 months, took your child to a routine doctor checkup. And the doctor was very angry that she was still breastfeeding, and he was in shock that the baby was still sleeping with them. And he said, you must stop breastfeeding, and you must put that child in another room at night. And so they really tried to listen to the doctor. He's a pediatrician, so he's an expert. But the doctor didn't consider that really it's only the mother and the father that are the experts on the child. But the pediatrician told them what to do. And so that night they put their child in the next room. And she tried not to breastfeed. And the baby cried. And after 40 minutes of crying, the father said, come on, this is not okay. This is cruelty. And he went and got his baby and gave to his wife and said, just feed him. And they fell asleep. And before dawn in the morning, they were hit with a very big, deadly earthquake. And you know that the house, half of it fell in the cliff. And that bedroom fell down the cliff. If their baby was sleeping there, as the doctor recommended and ordered them to do, the baby would have died. So follow your inner knowing, mothers and fathers. Look inside, and you are the expert on your baby. And I'm such a strong advocate for breastfeeding, especially in this age of climate and conflict crisis, when so many people can be left without electricity, without running water, without homes. And then if they're feeding their baby infant formula, there's not even a store to buy it or a place to properly cook it. If you don't boil the infant formula that comes in the powder form, 58% of it has the Zaki bacteria, and this can be very, very bad for babies. There's a certain percentage of babies that will get sick from Zaki bacteria, and even some will die. So you have to boil that infant formula for 1 hour for it to be safe. Imagine if you don't have a kitchen. And this is what happened in L'Aquila. The infant formula company of Nestle went to L'Aquila, and they told the women, you had a trauma from the earthquake, you should not breastfeed your baby. Your milk is no good. But the women said, we don't have a kitchen. We don't have a pot to boil in. We don't have water running. How can we give infant formula? Where can we sterilize the bottles? How can we do that? And they were giving free samples to people, to hungry, displaced, homeless people. They were giving free samples of infant formula, because they know that once you begin to give the baby infant formula in bottles, then the cycle of your milk will stop running smoothly. You give 1 bottle today, the next day you have less milk. You give 2 bottles the next day and you have even less milk, and you'll be struggling to keep your own breast milk supply up. So Nestle knows this. They really are predators against mothers and babies, you know? I mean, the Better Business Bureau sent the Filipino president a letter saying that you must allow us to sell infant formula in your country freely without regulation. And our president of the Philippines at that time, Corazon Aquino, she's a mother. And you know what she said to the United States? She wrote a letter back and she said, the Filipino people endorse breastfeeding because we love our children more than we love our business relationship with the United States. So as a Filipino, I'm so proud. And as a woman who's been here living, and my children are born and married here in Indonesia, some of my grandchildren are Indonesians now. I've been here for over 32 years. I will say that I'm so proud of our exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life policy. And that the midwives in Indonesia, they really do stand up for breastfeeding. So I'm very proud. And I hope that you will have the support you need to breastfeed your baby. Because I'll tell you, mothers, it is not the mothers who fail to breastfeed. It's their circle of support that fails them. It is the strong advertising. It is the fear. And it is the doctors and nurses and midwives and hospitals taking gifts from the infant formula companies. This is against international law, but it's still going on. Trust me, I know, because I've been in so many countries for so many decades now, and I have seen the corruption. So don't let those infant formula companies and the corruption, don't let them ruin your breastfeeding relationship with your baby, because the research is clear. We don't even really have to say it, but I will say it. Breastfed babies are healthier and they're more intelligent. And I know that every mother loves her baby and every mother tries. Every mother needs and deserves the support. This is a big women's rights issue. She deserves and needs the support from her family, from her healthcare providers, and from society so that she can successfully and joyfully breastfeed her baby. I love you so much.